Hello everybody, this is Niclas Huschenbeth and today I would like to show you another important endgame. So we're going to talk about queen versus pawn. This first doesn't sound too exciting, but let me show you the positions. So we have the queen as the white player and our opponent has a pawn all the way on the second rank. And he's about to queen himself. So if black to move, he would queen and it would be a draw. So we're going to talk about the different pawns, because there's a difference whether it's an A pawn or a G pawn or a C pawn and so on. And I want to show you which positions are winning and which positions are a draw. And once you've seen this once, I think you remember it for pretty much the rest of your life. So this is just something to learn once, and then once you understand the differences between the different pawns, then you'll remember it. So let's begin with the G pawn. So let me say this first. B pawn, D pawn, E pawn and G pawn on the second rank for black or the seventh rank for white if you're black and you have the queen. Those positions are winning for the side with the queen. And it's actually the same technique with all these pawns. So let me show you what happens. So the queen comes close, gives a check, and now it goes to G3. Black has to go to F1 to protect the pawn. Now he's threatening to queen, but now this check happens. And black has to go in front of the pawn. If he goes to E1, you can just take the pawn. So he goes to G1, and now black's not threatening to queen, so you can bring your king closer. So the king comes, and this pretty much repeats itself again and again. Now it's a check, king has to go in front, the king comes closer, and white repeats this process. Once again, we've seen this, king comes closer. Eventually the king is so close that with the help of the king, white checkmates. So for example here, now after G1 queen, white checkmates on H3. Alright, so that's the technique. Always giving this check on F3, forcing, or just like that, to force the king in front. So this also works with E pawn, D pawn and B pawn, like I said. But it doesn't work with the pawns A and H, so on the rim of the board, and the pawns C and F. So let's see why. Let's begin with the H pawn. So white wants to queen, and let's see what happens. Here white plays king G8, and we'll find out in a moment why our technique doesn't work. We've seen all of this was similar. Now we give a check, and here's the problem. White goes in front of the pawn, but now we cannot move our king closer, because if we move the king, it's a stalemate. So we need to move our queen away again, but once we move our queen, then there's king G8 again, threatening to queen, and it's a draw. There's nothing we can do, unless our king is close enough, but we'll get to this actually in another video, in the next video. So this is why H pawns are a draw, because of the stalemate theme, and the same reason why also F pawns and C pawns are a draw, also because of the stalemate idea. So let's see how this works out. Here, white cannot queen immediately because of the skewer, queen A3 check. Let's actually play this out real quick. And black wins the queen. So he brings the king closer. And now we do the same technique. So far it works, right? Check, king has to go in front, and we can bring the king close. But now, king G7, threatening to queen, queen E7. We do the same thing again, right? We do our checks, give a check here, give a check here. But here's the big difference. And that's actually why you need the king to be closer to a corner if you have an F or C pawn. Because now you don't go in front, that would be a mistake as black brings his king closer. But now you can go to the side, in the corner, and threatening to queen. And the point is that if black takes, it's once again stalemate. And that is why this position is a draw, because now black has to stop the pawn. And if he does, let's say here or here, then just king G8 back. And black doesn't have more time to bring the king closer. Alright, so those are the three different scenarios you can have. Or I guess two, A, C, F and H pawn are a draw because of stalemate themes, and B, D, E and G pawn are winning because there's always this check and white has to step with the king in front of the pawn. I hope that was all clear. In the next video we're going to see some specific situation where, even though it might be a F or H pawn, the side with the queen is still winning. But let me know if you have any questions about this video, and also let me know if this is interesting to you guys, because for a lot of you this might be already familiar stuff, but for maybe also a lot of you, you've not seen this before. So I'm just curious where you guys are standing and if this is helpful for you. All right, then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.